Hello and welcome to Try On Finances. My name is Thomas. Before we get started, please ignore my friend here. He's becoming quite obnoxious. In this series, Bedside Insight, I discuss different stories about the insight that I receive. For those of you that don't know, for my day job, I work within a hospital setting. So on a daily basis, I interact with patients and their families, and you get to learn a lot about life, a lot about finances. So in this series, I want to go over some of the stories that I get, both the good and the bad, and then maybe some of the takeaways that I receive from those stories. So in this first story, there is a individual who came into the hospital. He's in his late 30s. He's married, has a couple kids, but he had a stroke. So now that he's had this stroke, the family is obviously concerned. The wife is concerned about his health and well-being. She's also concerned about the kids. But guess what else she's concerned about? She's concerned about the money. You know, this is a single-family household. According to the wife, in speaking with her, the husband goes to work from approximately 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. almost 7 days, if not 7 days a week. Now that's all gone. From what I gather in conversating with her is that she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't have a plan, which is, it's normal. It's totally understandable that she doesn't have a plan, but it's sad that that's normal. It's sad that that's understandable. In today's world, if you just look at the stats, the vast majority of married couples aren't the best with communicating with the finances. One earns all the money. One does all the finances, and it's not necessarily exclusive, right? So I could go out and earn all the money, or the wife can go out and earn all the money, and then the other one may be doing the finances, and me being the breadwinner, I don't know what they are. Now, I'm not married. That's not my case. That's just hypothetical, right? With him earning all the money, with him taking care of all the finances, taking care of his family like a good man, she has no idea what's going on. What I gather from this, one of the first things I learned from this is, you got to be on the same page. I think I even said it in my very first upload. One of the steps to good financial habits is you got to be on the same page with your spouse if you have one. Right? What good does it do when in a case like this, where someone gets put into the hospital who's the main breadwinner, and handles the finances? What good does it do to their wife or their spouse if they have no idea what's going on with their finances? It's kind of sad, because guess what? Next month, the bills are still going to be due and the kids still need to be fed. And this family, thankfully, has a lot of extended family support. But that's not to say that this extended family has money to dump into them. You know what I mean? Like, we as individuals, we as a family unit, we need to be responsible for our finances, for our security blanket, as the parachute. However you want to analogy it, we need to be responsible for us. We can't rely on outside sources to come in and rescue us when things go bad. Guess what? At some point in time, things always go bad. Cliche as it sounds, guess what? Nobody gets out of this life alive. Okay? Nobody gets out of this life without a couple stays within the hospital at some point in time. It is a fact. Okay? These are things we have to plan for. They're the hard conversations that we have to have. But I'd much rather have the hard conversation. I'd much rather for you have the hard conversation up front than when your spouse is laying up in the hospital bed and this individual can't even speak. You look at him after this stroke and he doesn't even look like he knows what's going on. He can't even speak. He can't communicate. He just looks at you and just he's lost. It's part of having a stroke, right? So you gotta plan for these things. So what does that mean when I say plan for these things? Well, one, you both need to be on the same page when it comes to your finances, right? Just because one goes out and earns all the money, and just because one enjoys doing the finances, that's all well and great. Even if they're the two separate people, great. You need to come together a couple times a month to have these conversations about, hey, this is how much is being brought in. This is where it's at. This is where we are. This is what our plan needs to be. Okay? The second part of this, which I thought was really big, is the one who's staying at home, right? Who doesn't work outside the home, but they're taking care of the kids. They need to have a plan as to if the unexpected happens, because the unexpected does happen. They need to have a plan for what happens if, okay? So this spouse in particular, right? If they were keen on their finances together, and they had followed these two simple principles, right? Having a plan, and then with having that plan, having some line of work in mind, okay? When stuff hits the fan, and the unexpected happens in this case, and you still got kids to take care of and bills to pay, you're going to need to expect to go back to work, right? You're going to have some family support, hopefully, but it's not going to carry you through, right? Very few people have a bottomless pit of money that they can continue to dig into. And in this case, with how bad this guy's stroke was, for one, who's to say he's ever going to go back to normal? And for two, when he does, if he does, hopefully he does, how long is that going to be? And how much money is it going to cost to get him there, right? You could say, well, money's not a factor, but guess what? In healthcare, money is a factor. Hate it or love it, healthcare is expensive, okay? Even with insurance, healthcare is expensive. So have a plan to go back to work. If you're stay at home, look, unexpected, worst case scenario, have a plan to go back to work. Because at least in that case, you're not so much worried about your finances, and you can focus more on the well-being of your children and on the well-being of the spouse that's within the hospital, because that's what's most important, right? It sucks that in this day and age, when bad things happen, we can't only focus on that bad thing to try and make it better and trying to figure out how to live with it. We also have to worry about money. And that shows in the stats on how people manage their money and how stressed people are about their money. Okay? So if we have a plan, if we're good with our money, if we're communicating with our spouse, when the unexpected happens, because it will happen, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when that happens, if we have a plan and we fall back on that plan, it'll take off some of that stress of the situation. And I believe that's valuable. So with that, that's my first story, first little rant in this topic. Once again, bedside insight, the different things I get to learn while doing patient care that I find valuable to myself, that I believe will bring value to you. If you like this video, please subscribe, like, share, and we'll see you on the next one.